When Dr. Mordecai Kaplan began the SAJ 100 years ago, the Jewish community and the world were at a turning point. In the Jewish community, Kaplan saw on the one side a refusal among traditionalists to integrate new understandings of science and the world into their midst. And on the other hand, Kaplan saw a growing abandonment of Judaism altogether by those who wanted to be fully American. In the world, there had just been a global pandemic, the First World War, and American society had been experiencing a new revolution, a revolution for fighting for equality, women's rights and suffrage, labor rights, and economic equality. At this very particular moment in history, Kaplan responded by articulating a vision of Judaism in which you do not have to blindly follow the traditions or ideas that you don't believe in order to be Jewish, and where you could be fully Jewish and fully American, as Rabbi Waxman said, with those identities supporting and complementing each other. Kaplan saw the inequities both inside and outside the Jewish community and made the radical, and I would say still radical, suggestion that this hierarchy that Jews lived with for millennia as the chosen people was a principle we should no longer abide by. And he expanded Judaism to include women fully in ritual, setting off a revolution of egalitarianism in Jewish life. Today, 100 years later, we also gather at a turning point in the Jewish world and a turning point in our global world. The majority of Jewish families and younger Jews today do not feel obligated in the same way as their ancestors, their generations before, to join traditional Jewish institutions. And a trend heightened by the pandemic, not a bad one, but just a new trend, that a Jewish home, someone's spiritual home, could be accessed anywhere at any time on a computer or a phone. These are revolutions. These are new ideas. And in the larger world, you just have to take a deep breath, right? The larger world. Rampant inequality, which is shown a mirror on in the pandemic, but was there. Existential threats to our democracy. Global climate change. Anti-Semitism alive and well, and feeling extraordinarily close to home just 2 weeks after Colleyville. Deep breath. But in this watershed moment, this is how we are, and this is how we are going to respond. We are creating and building a spiritual community where individuals can find healing and wholeness, the healing and wholeness that they need in order to face the challenges in their life and in the world. A spiritual community that is based in deep love and joy, knowing that joy is not a privilege, but it is essential for our path. We are building a world in which the values of questioning are lifted up at a time when that is not the case. We are building a world of compassion in which loving our neighbor is an active practice. And while we recognize that anti-Semitism is undeniable, we also know we're not alone. Our safety, is in our solidarity. We are creating a world where diversity is our strength, and all are invited to contribute to the ongoing revelation of Torah. We are building a world that affirms the dignity of each person and inspires us to bend the arc towards justice. As we step into the next 100 years, and I want to say that again, as we step into the next 100 years, let us commit to channeling the chutzpah, the verve, the insight, the gusto of our founders to meet this moment and to the next century with creativity, with out-of-the-box thinking, and with deep Jewish commitment. Let us ask big questions and have the courage to try new things. Let us commit to building our community in such a way that will sustain us and uplift us as individuals, that also advances this institution, but more importantly, the Jewish people as a whole, and that will make the world a better place for Kol Yoshvei Tevel, for all who dwell on earth. That is our mission. It's plenty of work for 100 years. May we rise to this moment. Let's invite you to please rise.